video is by someone who does not understand the campaign, has been trying to stop it, and has been making up what it is about. I am not saying that lightly. I will prove it in a minute. Now you might be thinking, okay, so some YouTuber got something wrong on the internet. So what? See, that was my thinking too. The problem is how incredibly influential this YouTuber has been. Remember that list of coverage on the campaign? Well, best I can tell, Thor's coverage has been bigger than literally anyone else on those lists, except Asmongold. And the only video Asmongold had on this bigger than Thor's was about Thor's video. So for all practical purposes, Thor here has been the #1 voice on the campaign, and he's been lying about what it is. That's a bit loaded though. In this case, I'm using the second definition of lie. I have no evidence it's the first. This video came out right as we were building momentum, then except for one boost in Germany, the signatures started drying up like clockwork. This put me in kind of a no-win scenario too, because if I ignored it, then a lot of people were going to get misinformed about the campaign. But if I did a response video, which is not something I wanted to do anyway, then it might look like drama farming, which could understandably turn off a lot of people from the campaign, because it's not about that at all. So I quickly made this video trying to clear up all misconceptions and concerns about the initiative with timestamps for everyone's questions, hoping the truth would eventually come out. I can see now that was a mistake. I should have just embraced the drama. To this day, I'm still getting frequent comments and emails about the same falsehoods about the campaign that originated in this video. Well, now I have nothing to lose. If we don't get the signatures, then none of this matters anyway. So if this campaign is failing because of me not talking about this, then I'll at least correct history here on the way down. I'll get this over with and go over what I think are the biggest points of Pirate Software's videos. I'm not going to go over everything because collectively Thor has made hours of video on both me and the movement. I'd be here forever. Believe me, I could address smaller things too, and kind of already have. Alright, let's start. Okay, point number 1. Thor does not understand what Stop Killing Games is. Here it is in his words.
So for those who don't understand, the Stop Killing Games initiatives is basically we don't want single-player games to have DRM that the developers can turn off and thus render the single-player games inactive anymore. This is what they want to change. They need to be specific that they're talking about single-player games that do not need a server to support them.
No.
And
I really don't want to do this next part, but it's become a liability for the campaign for me not to. Our biggest critic by far is YouTuber and streamer Pirate Software, who goes by Thor. If your only exposure to Stop Killing Games has been this video, then you've been misinformed. This video is by someone who does not understand the campaign, has been trying to stop it, and has been making up what it is about. I am not saying that lightly. I will prove it in a minute. Now you might be thinking, okay, so some YouTuber got something wrong on the internet. So what? See, that was my thinking too. The problem is how incredibly influential this YouTuber has been. Remember that list of coverage on the campaign? Well, best I can tell, Thor's coverage has been bigger than literally anyone else on those.
Okay, so welcome back, everybody. Welcome back again to the channel. And yeah, I had to do a quick shutdown because there was a thunderstorm, and oh my goodness, there are times when the thunderstorms are really bad. Fortunately, this one was short-lived, and honestly, I don't even know if the thunderstorm is over. I can hear thunder, but I think it's far away now. There was like a few times when, not just a few times, when the thunderstorm was so bad that it was turning electricity off everywhere. Whenever there was a, a lightning strike, boom, everything turns off. And then there were instances where the power transformer were hit by lightning strikes. Kind of scary. And then obviously there won't be any power. No power at all. Especially in the area where the electric or power transformer is or hit, where the power transformer was hit. So the immediate area won't have any power until the electric company comes and replace it, because I don't think they can fix it. All they can do is replace it. Anyway guys, we're back here and we are going to react to Clownfish TV's video titled Stop Killing Games. I was doing it already, or I already started it when I had to quickly shut down everything before the thunderstorm becomes not louder. Actually, it's not louder, just becomes more dangerous, I guess you can say. Dangerous. Anyway, I always do that, not because I'm afraid, it's more of to be safe. Better to be safe, because it can turn into a really bad thing. Okay, so before I check out this video, let me check the Stop Killing Games page. And going to refresh this 454. Okay, so a few signatures were added, because when I refreshed the page, it was 454. Now it's 493. It's still at 629,000. We still need less than 400,000 signatures. Again, if you are in the EU and you don't like this practice of game developers, publishers killing their own games after they stop supporting it. Also, this practice of, or this idea is the idea of you not owning the games you bought. You know, back in the day, you go out, you bought your Nintendo console. Sometimes it comes with a free game, but during the early days, did it? No. Wait a minute. When my father bought us our first Nintendo, it came with 2 games. It was a Highway Star and Macros. And if you want to buy extra games, you'll have an actual physical copy of the game. And that game, you own that game. The developers can go into your home to disable the game. Because you own it, you have a physical copy of it. As long as the console is running, you have all the equipment necessary to run the game. No one will come in and take your game away from you. You can just plug it in and play it. Anyway, let's go check out Clownfish TV's video about Stop Killing Games.
Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon, and you need to stop killing games. Stop killing games. We're gonna take a look at the Stop Killing Games movie.
They should, because it's bad.
I'm gonna be very clear up front. I have not been following this.
Also, as I've said earlier,
I don't have the blow by.
You don't have to follow everything that is happening with Stop Killing Games.
Look at some of the clashes here, and have a bigger discussion, I guess, at least on
We just have to know that Stop Killing Games is good for you as a consumer.
And I am concerned.
And a gamer. A consumer and a gamer.
I don't know. I don't talk about it a whole lot, but we actually do own a retro arcade. And, it's hard to preserve these classic games, right? Especially when you're dealing with actual arcade machines, because there are so few of some games left. There's so few cabinets left in working condition. And, again, we're talking about online. It's apples and oranges, but it really isn't. Basically, video games were meant to be disposable by a lot of the publishers. And I think that extends to, obviously the mobile games and to, games that are always online. And it's basically, it makes its revenue, and then the company dumps it. They pull support for it after the consumer paid for it. If it's free to play, I guess that's one thing. Like, I don't think there's any kind of like implied contract there. But if you paid $50 for a game and then they end support for it and you can't play it after that, I think it's a huge problem. I personally think it's a huge problem.
Stop Killing Games.
You don't own your game.
Only affects games that you
and that's
bought.
the future that all these publishers want. They don't want you to own your game.
If the game is free to play, then
Library. They want you to constantly pay.
Did you really
to their
buy it?
service,
Of course not.
Game Pass or Nintendo.
Although I believe microtransactions
Subscribe to the service, and then when they get
are within within the scope of Stop Killing Games, because
whatever they want, whenever they want.
even if the game is free but you bought a skin, you paid money
Because we don't own
a skin,
anymore.
and then the game
Back in the day,
that's down, then
I was a huge Ultima Online player. I love
you lose access to the skin
I spent so
that you
many
buy.
hours playing it, and thankfully you can still play it, which I learned about recently. I didn't realize that people had private shards out there, and now I'm really tempted, but I'm like, I would get no work done. I would get nothing done. I would just sit around and play Ultima Online all day. But I think at some point, I think these companies should just be like, you know what, we're going to end official support for it. You guys run with it. And
Neon, you should try Ultima Online Outland.
You're out of luck, bro. You paid your $50.
It is not,
I spent thousands.
the continent is different.
Loot boxes and whatever, but that's on you. That's a you problem.
They have
Us problem. Maybe
I guess you can say, an original continent.
need to be very clear that
It's not in New Britannia.
if you're going to sink thousands of dollars into a game, through microtransactions or whatever, you need some kind of guarantee that it's going to be around in some capacity. I think if not, I guess it's no different than going to the arcade and pumping quarters into a machine, but that's how they're kind of looking at us all, I think. But that's just my bird's eye view of it. And it's a very complicated situation, but we've got some
But
YouTubers
with an arcade machine, if you put in a quarter, you know when the game ends. It ends when you
news, views, and rants.
lose all your lives.
Starting to add more content to the Clownfish website. We're actually on Substack now. We're going to add exclusive podcasts and video content over there because I don't trust YouTube. I'm going to be honest. I really don't trust YouTube. So go to news.clownfishtv.com. Again, we have articles and podcasts and all kinds of stuff. And we're working on a plan to bring you even more content. We're working on it. So let's go out to the website first. For those of you who aren't aware, this is the stopkillinggames.com. Stop Killing Games is a consumer movement started to challenge the legality of publishers destroying video games they have sold to consumers.
Again, it's not yet an actual law.
Effectively as goods with
It is an initiative.
but designed to be completely unplayable as soon as support.
If this thing moves forward and the government looks into it and discuss it,
This practice is a form of plan.
the
It is not only detrimental to
law that will
preservation,
come
effectively
from it
impossible.
or come out of it
And I'm a big
wouldn't be the same thing that the initiative is asking, because again,
retro arcade.
politics
Arcade.
is making compromises.
My uncle used to take me around, RIP, when I was a kid, little kid, like 3 years old. I'd go around and I'd help him get.
Unless, of course, it's really
I
bad.
learned a thing or two about restoring machines and restoring pinball tables, and I don't do it now, but I know the basics. I know enough to get by. Not as much as some of these YouTubers, but I can tell you, it is getting harder and harder to be able to repair these machines. And that, again, it's on the arcade side of it. Then you get on the console side of it. And, if it weren't for emulations, some of these games would have disappeared forever. And that's
why not have
these companies
maybe a
emulation. I understand
Raspberry Pi.
It's currently available. You don't want
the game is run by you have an emulator in a Raspberry Pi, and the game runs from it, and you put that in a cabinet.
That or the game just disappears.
Yeah.
And a lot of these companies,
I think that will work.
basically disappear.
It may not be the original. It may not be the original components.
Been sold and resold so many times, nobody has a clear.
If the goal is just to
this thing,
have the game running,
that's an issue too.
maybe that is
Reality of this
an idea.
is largely
And
untested in many countries. Okay,
like
but I just
what I've always said, if I had thought about it,
I'm a big proponent
I'm pretty sure
of video game preservation.
hundreds, if not thousands of other people
Preserve games. We should have a
thought about it as well.
of
So Raspberry Pi with an emulator, and then the game, and then put it in a cabinet.
really important that we have that. Over the past year, we have successfully escalated complaints on this problem to consumer agencies in France, Germany, and Australia, and have brought forth petitions for new.
I just heard a series of thunders.
List of the actions taken to date can be viewed here. As of 2025, most consumer action on this matter has concluded, and we are awaiting decisions on it from several governments. However, there are a few remaining avenues left where people can participate if they're eligible. So this is the European Citizens Initiative. Man, over 500,000 signatures. Okay. Petition UK government, contact. See, I think that the thing is, I don't think the government thinks it's important. I mean, they've spent so much time demonizing video games, or video games are just fodder, that who cares if they pull a game offline, right? They don't care. They really don't care. It's like a website going dark, right? Those remaining options, unfortunately, exclude citizens from other countries from participating directly, but all other options, okay. Yada, yada, yada. We're currently not seeking
I
funding.
think it's not about
Let's go out here.
I think it's more about
what's going on. So was
you buying something,
clashes on MSM.
and then the seller can just take it away. I think
Pirate Software explained. We'll look at
that is what
software apparently
Stop
stepped in.
Killing Game is more about.
They say at the heart of a growing online movement, Stop Killing Games calls out developers for pulling the plug on live service games too early. Created by YouTuber Ross Scott, Accursed Farms, it quickly gained support until Twitch streamer and indie dev Pirate Software pushed back. What started as a campaign for game preservation has now spiraled into a full-blown creator feud. Here's what's going on. Now, this is where you kind of lose me. Like, I don't know what the hell is going on with these guys. But, I mean, if you're asking me at the top level what my stance on this is that yes, I do believe it's important to these games.
It turned into a feud because Pirate Software made it personal.
Pretty much lost to time, and we've only got scraps.
Ross only responded to Pirate Software once,
If the company itself does,
and it happened a few days ago.
I understand video game enthusiasts.
Ross of Accursed Farms wasn't
Completionists. We want the
or
full.
was ignoring
Comic books are the same way.
Pirate Software.
Books were disposable kiddie fare for
But
years.
because Stop Killing Games is now
Like serious art.
in the last,
Consider it serious art. Same with the animation. It was
I guess, last leg or in the home stretch
time, and if it wasn't for fans
or about to expire,
preserving works,
that is when he
along
addressed
and seeing to it.
Pirate Software directly.
They're not making money off of it. They don't care.
Because Pirate Software misunderstood what
Killing Games launched in April of 2024 by Ross Scott.
Stop Killing Game is.
It's all about preserving access to online games. After
Was it deliberate?
I
Who
think
knows?
publishers should think about this.
Again,
several games.
anything is
We
possible.
invested so much time in this, and then it just like disappeared. So Ross argues when studios make a game dependent on servers and later shut them down, they're essentially selling something with an expiration date without telling players. It's planned obsolescence, he says, unfair to buyers and harmful to games.
Exactly. It's like selling you something, and then the seller, after
The movement has
a certain period,
traction with
would take it back
aiming to
without
require publishers to
giving you
offline
your money.
alternatives when live service titles go dark. I think that is, I mean, I'm torn because like you don't want to tell the publisher what to do, but I think if you're going to try, if it's free to play, that's one thing. I think if you're going to charge people for it, $50 for this game, there better be an offline version of it, because you have to have something, right? If you paid for a good, there has to be something that you actually own, in my opinion. Not everyone agrees with it, most notably Pirate Software. In a widely shared YouTube video, Pirate Software called the movement vague, unrealistic, and dangerous to game devs. He argued that the initiative is too broad and lacks clear solutions. Maybe it creates legal and technical burdens.
It's an initiative.
It could hurt the industry by setting unrealistic
the legal work
all online games
or the law.
I remember
it's not the initiative who will create
watch his entire video.
The law.
We'll play a clip here of these two.
Again, it's a conversation starter.
They're talking to each other, but not directly to each other.
It's like
in a chat together.
Hey, there's a problem. You tell the government there is a problem, and then the government say,
"I'm gonna respond to his."
We don't believe you. Get the 1 million signatures.
It's ridiculous.
Okay, so then you return to the government after 1 million signatures, and we'll take a look at it, and we'll have a discussion with the other side.
If you're a larger studio, and you're
of course, I'm just trying to simplify what this is.
There's any legal obligation.
I could be entirely wrong.
Right, you're going, and it could go dark. But if you're charging somebody $70 for Fortnite and there's no offline version of it, that is a problem. It's a huge problem. I think it's a huge problem because you have nothing. I mean, I guess, buyer beware, but you literally have nothing. So let's take a look at this. Pirate criticized Ross's suggestion to use this as a political tool. Okay, that I don't agree with. Claiming it misdirects lawmakers from urgent tech issues. Let's take a look.
Thankfully, someone backed it up, and I figured, okay, he hates this. It was thrust upon him by his viewers. I'll just leave him be. Well, that was a mistake on my part, because then he went on to make more videos about me and the movement.
So is this something like he's just making a whole bunch of videos about this. All right, so this guy is a developer, though, Pirate Software. So, he's probably going to come out from a different angle than, again, a casual who doesn't develop games but would like to see games preserved.
Now reaching over 1 million views, still broadcasting the wrong information on us. I guess I'm being petty here, but this is alien thinking to me. Why would you call someone out, then run away from a conversation with them when they say there's a misunderstanding, but then go on to make more videos calling them out? Sir, that is not gentlemanly behavior.
Okay. I love these internet slap plays. People wonder why we don't go on more live streams with people, and they wonder why we don't clan up with other people and we kind of stick to ourselves. It's because it always gets weird. I'm just saying, it always gets weird. But if you're making a bunch of one-sided videos about it, and if you're actually lying about it, then that is an issue.
All right, I know this is going on too long, so I'll get to the final point.
Okay, let's get to the point.
Four misunderstood the initiative, misunderstood our intentions, and misinformed a lot of people about both.
Okay.
But the irony is, I think he would have hated it even more if he did understand it. Because first, he doesn't see any of this as a problem.
Gaming isn't in need of saving.
Oh, no, I disagree with that. Right up front, I disagree with that. I think there are so many problems in gaming right now. I think it does need to be saved. I think it needs to be saved from developers, and
publishers, mainly AAA studios.
Okay.
No, it's not a form of planned obsolescence. It's called the game no longer being profitable and we turned it off.
Again, it's just wading into it.
That is very disingenuous, I guess.
I understand a lot of people probably watching this video being like, I've spent the last 2 months.
I'm thinking of this word to describe what he said, but
I'm busy. I got a real life here, right?
So, it is at the end of my tongue. Just couldn't say it. My goodness.
Super closely. Just off the top of my head, just my gut reaction is, if you paid for the game, there should be something that you actually own.
Exactly.
If you don't pay for the game, again, free to play, then the company can turn it off. It's just like a website. But if you actually paid for the game, I think there needs to be something that you can be like, look, I can't do PvP anymore, but I can still play the campaign or something. You know, I mean, that would just, to me, that would be like the ethical thing to do. Be like, yeah, it's like your game doesn't just become useless. This would be like, okay, so my take on this is be like, okay, we're discontinuing the NES and all your NES cartridges no longer work. I know you spent thousands of dollars on these NES cartridges, but go buy.
Oh my goodness!
Quit
the
whining.
backlash, if that actually happened back in the 90s,
that's
imagine the backlash.
Modern gaming thinks they don't want you to own your games at all in any capacity. They want to be able to turn them off and on whenever, and they want you to only have access to them if you pay a monthly subscription, because it's all about profit, right? I mean, I get it on some level. I am very much a capitalist, but at some point you got to be like, how much profit are we going to have if people just stop buying our games altogether? Right. And we're seeing that now. People are going back and playing old games. Why are they going back and playing old games? You can't turn them off. They're complete. Right. You put the disc in. The PlayStation game you bought 25 years ago, unless there's disc rot, it still works. You put it in your PS1, you fire it up, PS2, whatever, and it still works.
No games are being destroyed here. These are live service games.
Yeah, you heard him. No games are being destroyed. Does he just say anything? Is that why he's popular? More to the point, and what I wish he included in his main video, is he supports games being destroyed.
A very strange demand from people in the gaming industry where live service games should live forever, whether in the hands of the developer or otherwise. And I can't get behind that shit. I think live service games getting sunsetted is fine. I've always thought that. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I have no problems with the end of a video game.
Again, it depends. If it's free to play, I agree with him. It's like, look, it was free to play. You didn't pay anything other than your microtransactions. You put a bunch of quarters in the arcade machine, and we took the arcade machine out. We don't have an obligation to keep Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the pizza parlor forever, right? You played the game. It's gone now. I understand that. But again, I think if you're paying for it, personally, I think if you're paying for the base game, there is some obligation to be able to at least turn the fucking thing on. When you drop 50, 60, 70, 80, $90 for it, you should still be able to, in my personal opinion, you should still be able to play it in some capacity. Maybe not, you're not getting the full experience, but you can still play it. So I disagree.
And that is the objective of Stop Killing Games.
I wish he
For
started
moving forward in the future, game developers, while planning the game that they are developing, should include an end-of-life
To me,
feature in it,
making games,
so that
and that the next generation is to do so. So
when they decide to end support,
that's the whole intention of all of this.
So he
those who bought the game can still play it.
I think what he's trying to say is we don't want to stop making video games. I mean, I'm putting words in this guy's mouth, right? I get it. But is this the ferret guy? Is this the guy that has all the ferrets? But I'm also like, this is how the corporations think. They're like, oh, well, if we take the old games away and make them unplayable, it'll force people to play the new games. So we always have revenue coming in, right? And this is why I think they're freaking out so much about retro gaming being popular now. Because you're not giving them money. You're buying everything secondhand, right? You're going back and playing games that you bought 25, 30 years ago. And we're seeing this huge resurgence in games getting released and re-released. And, just this year, so many retro games getting remasters or reissues or whatever. And some of it's about saving money, I think, in development. But a lot of it is because they know that's what players want now. But they'd rather you buy Final Fantasy Tactics from them than go track down a used copy of it, because they're not making money on that used copy. So we'll offer it to you. We're going to change the script, make it more PC or whatever the hell they're going to do, but we'll give it to you. So you just buy it from us because it's way easier. I mean, I think about it, and in some ways it is easier because I went to a vintage store not too long ago. I took my daughter, and she's really big into Pa Rappa the Rapper now. And yeah, we had the HD version on the PS5. And I wanted to get a hard copy of the original because she has my old PS2, which still runs, by the way. I mean, we got that when Geeky and I first got married. She bought me a PS2. And what wife would do that? I mean, seriously, like, thank you. She's awesome. She's awesome. Those girls are out there. I'm just telling you guys right now, if you're like, I can't find it, no, they are out there. They're hard to find, but they're out there. So yeah, she bought me the PS2, and it still works. We've never had any issues with it. Now my daughter has it, and she plays it. And she plays Space Channel 5 on it, and she wanted hard copies of the Parappa games. And my God, Parappa is like $150 now.
I'm not sure if our PlayStation 2 still runs. I got the PlayStation 2.
I wanted, well, one I needed.
It was a second-hand.
I did, and they were in like pristine condition.
It wasn't brand new.
Lunar's back out now and all that stuff, but it's not the same. You don't get all the stuff.
I don't even know where it is.
On some level, but I had Mega Man.
Maybe it has been thrown away.
Still shrink wrapped, because I never ended up playing it, and it sold for like a ton of money. But I played it years later, emulation. But I actually had the hard copy, and yeah, people want that though. But again, Capcom's not making money if you buy a used copy of it. So this is I think they're freaking out. I think the video game industry, especially with all the layoffs, they're realizing that unless they pull this bullshit, again, this is my personal opinion, unless they make these games obsolete, players will default back to old games because the new stuff isn't that good. I think it's a multi-tiered problem.
Well, the answer to that problem is make good games.
Single-player games that only have a DRM check, okay, but then says people who buy single-player games with more than a DRM check are stupid, and he doesn't play those.
I don't buy games that are always online single-player games. I refuse to play those because it's stupid.
Yeah.
That's some tough talk coming from a fan of Diablo 4.
It's actually really freaking good, dude. The game's fantastic. Itemization is great. Systems design is great. Storyline has been fantastic. The characters are good. The voice acting is great.
So is he saying he wouldn't have played Diablo 4's single-player campaign if it didn't have forced multiplayer also, even though he's praising it and appears to be playing solo? Or is he saying that people that just wanted to play Diablo 4 single-player are stupid? I admit, I got lost on his stance there.
I mean, this is really getting into the weeds. I'm just going to tell you, because you're watching our video. We're not going to watch all his video, but I'm just telling you, my personal opinion is if you paid for something like a Diablo 4, you have to buy it, right? There needs to be a single player element. I think they need to tell people. I mean, I know it's stupid, but they have like epilepsy warnings. They have trigger warnings on games now. Tell them there's no guarantee that this online game is going to be online forever. I know it doesn't need to be spelled out, but I think it should be spelled out so people understand. Like
now it's no longer a purchase; it's a rental.
Like if they're these
or a license.
Look at Concord, huge failure, 2 weeks. Now I think they refunded people's money, but I think if the game had been online longer, they probably wouldn't have. They would have been like, "Well, you got a year or two out of it. Yeah, it's on you, man." You took the chance, and that's it. People aren't taking chances. Again, it's a multi-tiered issue. People aren't taking chances on new games because most of them are always online, and you have to be online. Like, hell, we lost our power a month ago. I think it was about a month ago. And I wanted to play my Switch. I'm like, well, I got a ton of Switch cartridges, right? I've got a ton of games I can play. No, I can't, because there's no internet. So my physical cartridge or card, I can't play on my Switch because I'm not online. And that's fucking...
And why are you buying Switch?
So I played my Atari instead. I played my N64 instead because they work without the internet, right? And that is annoying as hell. And I hate that. I hate that. I'm like, if I have a physical cartridge, I should not have to be online at all. That is I have a huge issue with that. Do you have the rights to this game? I'm like, yeah, I fucking bought it. Do you want the receipt? I bought this game. I have the fucking rights to play this game. No, you don't, because we can't get online and check and see if you have the...
Again, that happened to me with The Sims 4.
Huge issue, right? So this is coming from...
We lost lost power because of a storm for half a month. And I wanted to play The Sims 4 because it's a single-player game. Guess what? I was asked to log into my EA account.
After services get shut
How am I going to log into my EA account?
It's free to play if you pay for it, yes. I think as a consumer, yes.
If there is no internet.
The initiative isn't asking.
That was so stupid.
Developers were just saying that when companies are done supporting a game, they should offer some way for players.
I didn't know it worked like that.
I agree with this. 100%.
I was being asked to log into my EA account.
Pirate Software made a stream.
And because I couldn't log in, I couldn't play the game.
Heartbound made a strongly critical video about SKG that Scott says totally twisted what the campaign's about. In the video, Pirate Software made the initiative sound vague, impossible, and even shady, telling people not to back it. Heartbound, is that, did he get canceled? Hold on. Oh yeah, okay. I have this game. I have this game. Anyway, there we go. All right. He told me to eat his whole ass while completely misunderstanding what we're actually trying to do. Then Pirate Software doubled down when faced with explanations instead of clearing things up. The Stop Killing Games campaign has been circulating petitions in the EU and the UK, utilizing the European Citizens Initiative process, which requires 1 million signatures from at least 7 countries. Okay. Scott admits the path is getting tougher. Yeah, they don't care. They don't care, right? So this points to a bigger issue in gaming. Yeah, who really owns your game? Since more and more games need constant internet or server checks to work, players are often stuck relying on what publishers decide to do. When games like Ashwin's Call or a bunch of mobile titles go offline, people just lose access to stuff they actually paid for. I'm going to tell you, just dipping a toe into this, I agree with Ross Scott 100%. And again, this is coming from a guy who has been around games his entire life, who's attempted to preserve gaming, who, am I allowed to say this, was in the emulation scene back in the 90s before most people knew about it. Again, as an attempt to archive and help preserve gaming. And yeah, I hate that everything has to be online right now. I hate it. I think if you paid for the game, there needs to be something that you get to take with you. Even if it's like you go to a restaurant, you order a dessert and it's got a funny little topper or something, a little umbrella or something like that. You eat the dessert, you can still take the umbrella with you as a souvenir. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ate this dessert, I ate this cake, or I had this drink, and here's my umbrella. Even if they give you a damn paper umbrella, at least you've got something. You got some proof that you actually purchased something at some point. That's my personal opinion. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up, guys. There you go. You can wade into this a little bit deeper than I have, but just bird's eye view. I agree.
Again, it's not
with.
Stop Killing Games is not hard to understand. It's actually very simple.
Did not pay for the game. I don't think they have any obligation to keep it online forever. If you did pay for the game, you've got to be able to have something.
It's about keeping the games you paid for.
Please subscribe. We'll talk later. For more pop culture news.
Okay, so I guess that's Clownfish TV's take on Stop Killing Games. And if you guys want to watch the entire thing without me, without anyone yapping and yapping and yapping or talking over it, just go to Clownfish TV's YouTube channel and watch it there. Okay, so before I end this one, let's go and check out Stop Killing Games website once again, or webpage. I'm going to do a refresh to see if there is any movement. Okay, so there's another increase. It was 493, now it's 713. It's slowing down. I think it's slowing down, but as long as it's still gaining signatures, there is a chance of this initiative getting 1 million signatures. That's why if you guys support not having your games killed and you are not in the EU, maybe you are in Brazil. So if you're in Brazil, obviously you can't sign the initiative But if you know people in Brazil, even if they're not gamers, ask them to sign the initiative for you. For you. Because this is not just, this is more of a consumer rights issue. So, the seller, the game industry, the seller, the gamers are the buyer. The seller are selling products to buyers. And then after a while, they would take the product back, take the product back without giving the buyer their money back. Seriously, that is what's happening in the gaming industry right now. That is what game developers and game publishers are doing right now. And that is the objective of Stop Killing Games, to stop that kind of practice. If the game you're playing is free to play, you did not pay anything for it, that is not under Stop Killing Games. If you are playing a fully single-player game that you bought, maybe Skyrim, maybe you bought Skyrim like 15 years ago or however long that was, you can still play it because you have a copy of it. And if you bought it in GOG or GOG.com, you can have a backup copy that doesn't rely on GOG. So you can put that copy in another PC that doesn't connect to the internet, and you can play Skyrim from there. So, Stop Killing Games doesn't cover that because those games can't be killed. You have a copy of it. Anyway, guys, that's it for this one. Thank you for watching. Follow, subscribe, like the video, share the video, and see you in the next one. Again, let's stop developers and publishers. Let's stop them from killing games. Bye-bye for now.